Now, the main gist of it is people often refer to being recovered when they're often in a sort of a period of kind of remission. So if we look earlier on in my journey, what happened was there was a big part of my journey along the way where I thought I've definitely recovered now, because I'm not feeling chronic anxiety, chronic intrusive thoughts. Those have stopped. Well, what had happened was I'd got over one fear. Nothing had come to take its place at that point. And so I was feeling pretty good. And so chronic anxiety was down. Intrusive thoughts was sort of there, but not so much. So I thought, this is recovery. But it wasn't. It hadn't latched in a way on something yet and really got to that position. And I was sort of in that kind of, not so much coasting phase, because I wasn't sort of feeling really bad symptoms at that time, stuck in that. I was feeling better where I thought I'd recovered, but I was just waiting to be caught again by OCD. So that wasn't recovery, it was kind of remission. And then what happened is, obviously, as I went through the journey, I got a lot longer along in the journey. I got to a point where I realised, hold on, I'm at a point now with unconditional self-life acceptance and not more comfortable with uncertainty and not needing to get rid of the thoughts and the anxiety and so on. And so I thought at that point, well, this is a completely different scenario to what I was in previously. Because in this position now, where I am, I was in a position, and still am, in a position where OCD didn't have that grip anymore, because there's nothing it could come up with. So let me demonstrate. If OCD had a really latched on sort of sticky thought, as I often say on here, what happens is some thoughts you can leave when they're not gripping, they're not really stuck. You can sort of leave them be, and they're not causing a huge problem, and they kind of fade into the background. But sometimes you get these really sticky ones that get stuck and locked on for a very, very long time, like I did with false memory, real event OCD. What if I hurt someone? What if I really badly in the past? What if I'm going to jail? What if I'm going to get a disease, a life-threatening disease, HIV or cancer or something like that? The difference now is I can deeply see that not only can I see that those intrusive thoughts are what they are, but that wouldn't have unlatched it previously, because previously what would have happened is, even knowing, this is an OCD thought, my brain would have still latched on with the 0.01% of what if it isn't, what if it's real. That's why it's latched. You can't, these books just say all the time, just leave thoughts there, just relabel the thoughts. Well, you can't do that like they often suggest, because yes, that works partly, but it's not foolproof. And that's why so many of the books of old used to leave people stuck, including me, for years, where I was trying to relabel a thought OCD, but my brain was like, yeah, but what if it's real? On some level, I believe that. The difference now is, look, if I found out tomorrow I was going to get HIV, I wouldn't like it. It would be frustrating. But it wouldn't really change my life in a huge amount of ways. I could still do most of the things I want to do and so on. The same with a lot of illnesses and ailments and so on. So I'm not terrified of it. There's not that chronic anxious reaction in my body which is trying to fight that off. That's not there. So because that's not there, there's no chronic cycle, because I'm not terrified of it, right? That's the first part. The second part is, let's take other fears. What if I'd committed, not committed, but what if I had done, so we'll use some easier examples. What if I had hurt somebody in the past in a way that I thought was really out of order, really not so good? Well, all that would happen in that situation is I could see that I'm a human being who's fallible, that could act in a way aggressively at times. And if that occurred, that would be a part of there would be a behaviour. It wouldn't be my totality, my value. So I could see I would still be intact. So I could see that, that's a mistake. A mistake has been made, a wrong, an error, but it doesn't detract from my values. It's complete internally peace. None of those thoughts could come up. Now, let me just highlight, for the sake of the discussion, it could be any thought, no matter how scary or act or whatever. It won't take away from that baseline peace. That baseline peace is there because I know that there's nothing to come up with. What if the universe, there's eternal pain after death? Well, an existential thought. Well, maybe there is eternal pain after death. There could be a possibility. I highly doubt it, because when the human brain's dead and the brain has died and the body and so on, I doubt that there is anything there, and I doubt that that's the case. But there could, maybe, as a possibility, 1 in a million be. So I can go with uncertainty of maybe that's the case, maybe that will occur, but I'm not sure if that is the case, and I can be okay with the uncertainty of this slim chance, I doubt it, and I can sit with that uncertainty. And I would rationally deal with that then. How? Well, rationally, if I knew... Do I need to know the answer to everything in the universe that's happening in the next few minutes? No. Why does it choose the end of life and it says we must know at the end of the life what's happening, what's going to happen? Because it's a fear of fear subtle cycle which is trying to latch on to go, oh, you'll miss out on all your life because you'll be so focused on anxiety and being stuck for the rest of your life that then you'll miss all the things you want to do. So it's a self-sabotage cycle of, oh my God, what if I'm scared for the rest of my life and I can't get that thought out of my head? So on and so on. It does that, right?